If you thought Marvel was doing a solid number on the DCEU, then you're right, but the MCU isn't the only problem they have. There's someone else. There is no turning back now though. The DC Universe is set to replace the DC Extended Universe. That's a mixed bag, but you can't hold it against directors James Gunn and Peter Safran. Why? Because it's all Dwayne Johnson's fault. The DCEU is likely gone, especially after Deadline published an article with material clearly given to them by Dwayne Johnson's team to rebut allegations that Black Adam won't earn a profit. Now, the DC Studios co-CEOs, James Gunn and Peter Safran, are planning a reboot of the DC Universe in order to save face. The planned reboot is so bad that the newly repackaged DCU won't feature any of the franchise's previous performers or films. In fact, not even Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 is currently on their docket.
Well, aren't you resourceful?
Come with me before you do any more damage, Max.
That's some serious stuff, and all fingers have pointed to The Rock for DC's current woes. Of course, it's not like the media giant has been standing on sturdy legs in recent years. Far from it, as their limbs have been wobbly for a while. As you would expect, The Rock does not agree that he has anything to do with the DCEU's woes. The former WWE wrestler is not used to bad press, and is not thrilled about having the responsibility for another DCEU bomb placed on his shoulders. For this reason, he's taking action, and is so determined to make subsequent Black Adam movies happen that it borders on lunacy. Johnson and Black Adam, unfortunately, have been instrumental in what appears to be the death knell for the DC Extended Universe. My opinion is pretty straightforward, and as honest as can be. This film and The Rock contributed greatly to the demise of the DC Extended Universe. Everything he did was wrong, from his brash approach to the film industry to his attempts to impose his vision on DC Studios. Nothing clicked, and I mean nothing. To begin, he never did and still doesn't appreciate the established order of authority at DC Studios. Johnson began fielding inquiries about leading Warner Bros. DC Extended Universe while promoting Black Adam. The actor, as cocky as he was, took on the role of counselor, suggesting that he thought his ideas may help the shared world succeed, even if he was not in a position to lead the division. But as for the reviews for Black Adam have shown, his DCEU would have been even worse than Snyder's. How come no one saw this coming? After all, his conflicts with Vin Diesel on the set of the Fast and the Furious movies were evident.
I think everything's fine, yeah. We had a good chat long ago and everything is the way it should be.
With such a silly conflict with one of the best action heroes in Hollywood, Johnson gave us good enough reason to believe he isn't a team player. More so, Gunn and Safran had trouble trusting him when putting together the DCEU because he bypassed Walter Hamada to recast Henry Cavill as Superman. Speaking of the man from Krypton, Superman's return benefited The Rock more than it did the fans. With an actor like Johnson prepared to go to such extremes to get Cavill back as Superman, it's no surprise that DC Studios executives are aiming to destroy the DCEU and rebuild from scratch.
Yes, I mean, to a degree, it's of course an emotional moment. I'm not talking floods of tears or anything.
Even though the actor crafted a story for die-hard Superman fans, there were already numerous Superman projects in development during Hamada's time in power. So was there really any need for Johnson to create more? After all, his new Superman story would clash with others, hence delaying their production. Johnson himself knew he had a dud on his hands, so he recruited Cavill as a last-minute cameo and to hint at a sequel, both of which benefited Black Adam. What he's doing is transparently clear and blatantly manipulative to anyone with even a little familiarity with the film industry. Of course, the irony here is that viewers of Johnson's film wanted more Superman and less Black Adam. Cavill's return was publicized by the actors, who share an agency without a contract in place, seemingly in an effort to coerce the studio into re-signing him. Now, it's bad enough that The Rock has tried to manipulate the DCEU. It's even worse that he's now at odds with them. This poses a threat to DC Studios, because Johnson has shown that he is prepared to utilize his large social media following to deceive people into believing his act. Well, he used to be a pro wrestler, so putting up a gimmick is nothing new to him. Now, for this 10-year endeavor, Gunn and Safran have been called upon. Johnson has taken to Twitter to make claims about future Black Adam sequels and spin-offs he hopes to see made. How could he do that when there's no such plan. And since no one besides Gunn and Safran has any idea what's on the horizon, DC Studios will face criticism if the studio fails to include Black Adam 2, Hawkman, and Justice Society movies in its upcoming release schedule. Johnson is also leaking financial information to the media and asserting that his movie was a hit. But the whole world now knows he's lying. Black Adam flopped. Gunn has even encouraged fans to be patient for the DCU they've been waiting for. And as a result, many viewers will believe it and once again direct their ire toward DC Studios when they're denied what they consider to be a deserved sequel. That kind of negativity needs to end now. Another sad part about The Rock's time with DC Studios is that he's giving the media a false narrative. As we all know, you have to be able to work an audience and get them to buy into your act if you want to make it as a professional wrestler. And fans of WWE acknowledge The Rock as one of the best of all time because of his extraordinary abilities in this area. Unfortunately, oddly favorable coverage has been given to him from the beginning by sites who want to secure future interview access. Even though Black Adam's opening weekend was significantly lower than expected, Johnson still considered it his most successful debut to date. Well, no other film of his has ever opened with more than $67 million. Deadline published a glowing piece recently, replete with details given to them by Johnson's crew in an apparent last-ditch effort to market Black Adam as a smash. Despite the fact that critics have generally been harsh on the DCEU, they are currently trying to rebuild the franchise, and it's hard to imagine that a star with this much clout would be interested in risking his reputation as a leading man for the sake of the new films.
You're the Batman?
So you're fast.
That feels like an oversimplification.
Which is why among the many problems with the DC Extended Universe, Black Adam exemplified them all. For a long time, Johnson built up Black Adam as a fresh start for the DCEU and promised to reorganize the DC superhero team's chain of command in his favor. As far as the author was concerned, this was the prologue to a brand new age in fiction. Unfortunately, it was just as horrible as Suicide Squad and Justice League, with shoddy slow motion, subpar visual effects, and a boring plot. Although The Rock had an outstanding performance as Black Adam, the film debuted to poor reviews and low box office takings, as is becoming the pattern for the DCEU. Gunn and Safran have the responsibility of rectifying the situation, ensuring that their DCU has the same level of success as the MCU. Maybe things would be different if Black Adam had been more successful. Maybe The Rock's actions would have been justified, and the DCEU would still be standing, but the film wasn't successful.
So what I like is he doesn't conform.
And the DCEU has come tumbling down the hill. Thanks, Rock. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.